Hey, folks, my guest today is Andy Jednak. He's a seasoned venture-backed high-growth CEO who has led a number of digital media, SaaS, IoT, mobile, and app businesses. He currently serves as president and CEO of Clientpoint, a top-rated global SaaS platform. In past lives, he's played European pro basketball and produced television for NBC. Andy, you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely, Nathan. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Okay, you have to tease us here with this NBC thing. What was your favorite show that you worked on?
Well, I actually worked on a show called Money Matters, which was fantastic because my set designer won an Emmy for design, and my producer won an Emmy for the show open, which is the thing that happens in the first 20 seconds of the show. So my team did really well with that, and so that makes it my favorite.
That's amazing. Okay, so how do you get into Clientpoint, and what is Clientpoint doing for customers today?
No, absolutely. And Clientpoint's really interesting in the sense that we have a totally different view of how we do SaaS. Most solutions out there solve a problem: e-sign, video conferences, document sharing, calendar scheduling. We don't look at ourselves as a solution to solve a problem. We look at ourselves as a solution to help enable relationships. We call ourselves a business relationship enablement tool. And everything a relationship needs online today, especially in this remote COVID world, happens all in one place called a Clientpoint. So you meet with someone at one link, you chat there, you schedule meetings, you share documents, you e-sign. Anything you want to do happens at one link between you and whoever you're doing business with.
Interesting. Okay, so that's what you're doing now. What are customers paying on average per month or per year to use your tool?
Yeah, on average, it goes across the board. If you look at, from the very, very biggest to the very, very smallest, it's probably an average of about $75 per user per month.
Okay, so that's consistent since 2018. No real ARPU expansion there.
Yeah, I think what's happened is actually our rates have gone way up, but also our largest customers have grown many, many, many times over. And so the bigger you get, the cheaper it is, the price per seat. So it stayed about the same as it was 4 years ago on average across the board.
I see. Can I ask, don't obviously name the customer, but what's the largest customer pay you today?
Oh, I don't talk about our specific numbers, but I'll say it's better than 7 figures.
Okay, I was going to say, some of these publicly traded SaaS companies, it's just amazing. You see that, 100 customers paying $1 million per year, but you've got at least one paying 7 figures, which is great.
Yeah, we do. And it's broken up. It's interesting. Our tool, our solution, we're really alone out there. There's no one doing exactly what we do. And when you look at all of our customers, 1/3 of our revenues are enterprise, 1/3 of our revenues are mid-market, and 1/3 of our revenues are SMBs.
Interesting. What's now, out of curiosity, if you look at all your revenue as a percentage, as a pie, is it also 30% enterprise revenue, 30% mid, or is enterprise 60%?
And that's what I meant. It's actually, if you look at it, a pie is all of our revenues. It's about 33% enterprise income, and 30% mid-market, 33% small business. So a lot more small business users, which is so exciting because there's such a need, even for solo players out there, to be able to have a tool like this where everything's all in one place. The alternative is, you want to schedule. Calendly is a great tool. We'll go over to Calendly. You want to meet? Zoom is incredible. Go over to Zoom. You want to have an e-sign? We'll go over to DocuSign. Everything's all over the place in B2B relationships. And then it's all anchored by email. You want to share a document? Use a great tool called DocSend or something else. We just take all those tools, we put them into one place, whether it's those people that I named, or if people would prefer to use our own version of those tools and pay less.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, when did you join the business? What year?
I joined at the beginning of 2018.
Okay, and the company was founded in what, 2008?
Yeah, it was actually started in 2009. It was built within a company that had a need to compete and wanted to do a better job. So they built the software for themselves then. And then a few years later, they actually started selling it to other companies about 2011.
Oh, what's going on there, YouTube? Good to see you guys. Now imagine this. You love watching these interviews with SaaS founders, but imagine if we took all of the valuation data out from over 2,807 interviews I've done manually. Saves you a lot of time. Well, we've done this. We've built it into the beautiful interface inside of FounderPath. Check this out. I'll show you how you can access this in a second, but you log in, you connect your Stripe account, you see your valuation real time, you can see what it changed over the past 88 days, and even set goals for valuation this year. Now, the secret to valuation is there's many different ways to value a SaaS business. So the reason you're going to see 3 or 4 different valuations inside of your Founder Path dashboard, this is all free by the way, is because depending on who's doing the buying of your SaaS company, you're going to get a different valuation. A VC is going to pay a different valuation. Private equity firm is different. If you're going to do a minority sale, that's different. And if you sell the whole business, that's a different valuation. You can see all those when I hover over here. Right. So the teal is what a VC would pay. Yellow is what private equity. And red is if you sold the whole thing outright. Now, what's cool about this is not built off random data. Again, you guys hear these interviews on YouTube. All these data are built from real-time valuation data points founders share with us on the show. So traction, 1.2 million, seed round, 3.7 raise. They sold 22% of their business. Go in here and filter by the event. Maybe you only want to see companies that have sold the whole business. Well, here are a bunch that have been acquired, the valuation and the multiple. Maybe you're going out right now and you're raising your seed round. Well, go in here and look at all this recent seed deals that went down, what they raised, what valuation they raised at, and what percent that they sold. There's never been a larger data set of SaaS valuations than what you can get now inside of Founder Path, and we're thrilled to bring it to you. All right, we're going to go back to the YouTube video here in a second, but if you want to check this tool out, if you want to jump in and sign up, you can check it out for free to get your valuation at this link, founderpath.com/products/valuations. Or if you go to founderpath.com and hover over products, click on get your valuation here and go ahead and sign up to give it a whirl. Again, all that valuation data live right inside the platform. I hope to see you there. All right, let's jump back into the interview. And why'd they bring you in and what excited you back in 2018?
3 things. First off, one of the board members, I had more than enough going on in my life, but one of the board members pulled the friend card and said, "You've got to meet the CEO." He said, do me a favor. They're looking to level up. They're looking to bring in a SaaS guy. You know, I'm a former Silicon Valley tech CEO, board member. They've got an incredible business. You got to meet this guy. And I said, okay, I'll have coffee with him. Fantastic guy and a fantastic group of founders. Wonderful people. That was number one. I really, really appreciate good culture and good people. Number 2, they had built an amazing product over several years, and they just listened to their largest customers. And every week, every month, every quarter, they kept adding more features based on what? Based on what their customers said they wanted. And they'd managed to build out a very, very deep and extensive enterprise grade SaaS tool. And then number 3, they didn't know what they had. I mean, literally what they had built was something that could change the face of B2B SaaS. And those 3 things, I said, you know what, I'm going to jump in. So I changed my life and jumped in at the time.
I love that. Now, Andy, you mentioned a board. So how much did they have? Had they raised a bunch of capital before you joined? If so, how much?
Yeah, almost nothing. They'd brought in about $250,000, and the rest they'd really done on their own. They'd bootstrapped the company from the beginning. They had brought in $250,000, and then after that, we brought me on, and that we expanded it from there. But we haven't brought too much capital in, which is interesting.
So no other outside capital besides the $250K even after you joined.
We have a bunch of individual investors. Most of them are our customers. They're actually, most of them are CEOs of our companies who just love our product and want a piece of the action. They've all invested, but I mean, the total investment of the company is less than $5 million. We've just done really, really well on our own steam.
How have you structured that? Let's say someone listening right now also wants to let their customers, CEOs, write checks. Do you do an individual convertible note for every single investor, or an RUV and an SPV, or how do you structure it?
Yeah, we do a convertible note. There's a lot of ways to do it, and I think for your listeners, if they're interested in investing, there's a lot of CEOs out there who are going to put pre-money. They're going to put a big price tag on their company, saying this is a $40 million idea. So you invest on a convertible note, and it's a $40 million valuation. I think that there's a lot of people who value the company too high. We didn't do that. We took a very fair-handed amount of valuation of the company. We've slowly, grown that amount to the cap of the note, the discount to a note over time as we've shown that we've been able to grow the company. So it was very fair, very even-handed, and as we've grown, we've got a really great syndicate of guys who are part of the team.
And what do you anticipate will cause the notes to convert? Do you believe it will be on a priced equity round, or do you believe you're more likely to be, acquired and the conversion happens at acquisition?
You know what? We're actually right now raising our very
Ah,
first institutional round.
there we go.
So,
There's the answer.
so
All
yeah,
right.
yeah,
How much
we're
you want
doing
to share?
that.
So that'll be your series A, I mean your seed, right? Or your series A or
Well,
what?
well, it's we make too much money to call it a seed. Call it an
Yeah.
early A, call it a late seed, whatever it might be. But it's a small amount. We're going to bring in 5 million.
Okay.
We are literally just now starting to have meetings with institutional players, potential strategics that we work with. And so I think the next step is to get that syndicate of investors converting into that round, which I'm really excited. I'm really happy for them because we've done real well.
Yeah, no, that's great. Now, most people in their Series A these days, they're selling between 10 and 15% of the business. Is that sort of what you're targeting?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So you're
It-
targeting sort of 45 pre-money, something like that.
we're gonna let the market decide what that's going to be, but we're pretty optimistic that that's probably the ballpark.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the business. So you get going, you join in 2018, very little raise before that. You've obviously driven some nice growth. How many customers are there on the platform?
Total is in the thousands now.
Okay.
We don't get the exact numbers out, but we're now in the thousands. So I think when I last spoke with you, it was a much smaller amount.
Yeah. I mean, can you, I mean, can you maybe provide a little tighter range? Are we talking like 1,000 or like 99,000?
It's less than 10,000.
Okay. Perfect. So between 1 and 10,000, somewhere in
Yes.
there. Now, is that a big goal for you guys? I mean, do you think you can break 10,000 customers next year?
We actually, our vision is to have 2 million people using Clientpoint by the end of 2023. So
Mm-hmm.
the way we're growing our business now is what we're going to start to do is really let more and more people have free access to a light version of it. And we're really excited about that. We're in pre-beta on that. We're going to be launching it in beta a little bit later this year. So the idea here, what we have, especially in the post-COVID world, is so important. Just to have everything. I mean, imagine you being able to do all your business on one link. You have one link. You give it to 1 million people, and everybody who comes to that link will have their own business relationship workspace with you. Every single person. That's not available out there. And we want to make that available to the masses. So we're going to start giving away a free version so that everyone can use it. Anybody in business can use it. And then there's lots of ways for people to get more by paying a little bit of money, or for them to leverage into a full enterprise version through that program.
Makes sense. Now, Andy, talk to me about team today. How many folks are full time?
We are now a little over 50, and the majority is still product and technology. I think we're a technology and product forward company. I'm sure a lot of folks talk to you about the idea of product led growth versus sales led growth. And so most of our team is still there in that side of the business. And we think a great experience is going to lead to delighted customers, which is one of our values. And so that's really where the majority of our folks are.
Mm-hmm. Now, if I take, you said between 1,000 and 10,000, if I take 5,000 right in the middle times that $75 a month ARPU, that puts you around 400 grand a month in revenue or around a $5 million run rate. Is that generally correct?
Yeah, I'm like I say, we don't share our numbers, but I love your math.
When you raise the 5 million series, and by the way, that's also consistent with what a Series A company would be, somewhere between sort of 2 and 5 million bucks of ARR. It's also consistent when we take your head count and multiply times 110,000 in revenue per employee, which is average for a VC-backed company, which you are because you raised 5 million bucks. You sort of hit all that. But if let's say you get the deal done, you raise 5 million Series A, what can you use that money for? How large do you think you can grow with just that capital?
We expect to use that capital and invest pretty heavily into the business and be back to profitability within 5 quarters. And we plan to do a growth round right before that. So we're going to invest hard. We're going to get close back up to the kind of -5, -7% EBITDA range, and then double down again in a growth round. And that, so
Well,
that'll be 5 quarters afterwards.
help me understand how that works. I mean, if you're going to raise a 5 million Series A and then invest it aggressively, I mean, that means you're going to be negative for many quarters, 3, 4, 5 quarters. So how do you, when you say profitability, you just think growth is going to happen, it's going to happen rapidly, so you'll be profitable 5 quarters from now?
That's correct. Yeah. So we're going to invest heavy into product and also into marketing and sales. It's basically what we've done. We've cracked the code on our new category of 1, business relationship enablement. We have built a machine to be able to pour a lot more gasoline on it in the form of cash in terms of marketing and in terms of growing and building up the product. Having a better product creates more virality, it creates more critical mass, and that's also going to be a big driver to growth. It's not just driving leads to sales.
Yep. Very good. Andy, good stuff. We're rooting for you. Let's wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, favorite business book.
I have to tell you, my favorite right now is Never Split the Difference. Great
Mhm.
book. I recommend it to anybody.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I have to tell you, when Jeff Bezos gave up the reins, I decided to really study what he had done from the very beginning to his final letter that he wrote to the industry. I think it's fantastic what he's done. I've been really looking at all the things he did, and he left me, and I think all of us in an industry, with a really great and important point, and that is, what value are you giving back to the marketplace? Are you giving back value? And if you're giving value back to the marketplace, that's how you're going to have a successful company.
Number three, what's your favorite online tool besides your own for building Clientpoint?
Oh man, I got to tell you, I absolutely love Salesforce.
Yeah.
Salesforce, beautiful CRM. We are partners with them all over the world. CRM and Clientpoint are a hand in glove mix. So the CRM is where the database and all the information about the client is. Clientpoint is where the relationship itself happens. We use Salesforce. We love it. So I'll give you that one.
Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Between 4 and 6.
Okay, that's not bad. And situation, married, single, kids?
I am married with 3 fine young men in their 20s.
Oh, wow. Okay, busy guy. And how old are you?
I am 59.
59. Last question. Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
Let's see. I think when we look at everything we need to know to be successful, we think of skills and knowledge. What do you know? How do you apply it? I think what's even more important than that is your mental and emotional strength. What is your capability to be able to have great emotional intelligence? What's your ability to have confidence and certainty? What's your ability to be able to process fear in a way that you use it as fuel? All these mental and emotional strengths are a lot more important than your skills and knowledge. If I'd known that at 20, I think that would have been fantastic.
Guys, there we have it. Clientpoint launched back many years ago. Andy came in 2018 to help really, drive additional growth, which he has. They now have between 1,000 and 10,000 paying customers. They pay on average $75 per month. They're now looking to scale, raising and targeting a $5 million Series A. They've raised about $5 million to date from individual LPs who are also their customers, which we love. Very community-driven approach. We'll see if growth catches up to the raising. They've got a team of 50 right now, so they look to continue to scale. Andy, thanks for taking us to the top.
Nathan, I loved it. Take care.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.